I didn't even look at my hair before I sat down. This is just awful. It's chaos. I got out of bed. I fed the pets and did a few things around the house today. By the way, this is going to be a very, very different episode of the podcast. Good morning. This is a Friday morning here in Lynchburg, Virginia, and I thought of an idea I wanted to share with you guys and see what you guys think about it, and let me know in the comments below if this is something I should continue doing or if this is just dumb. Okay, so give me a second here. This is going to get a little funky for a minute. And no. Okay, there we go. Oh, that's trippy, huh, man? And this is my brilliant idea. Yeah, that's right. We're going to go over my Facebook memories for the last, I think it's 12 years, maybe 15 years that we have on here, just real briefly. But a lot of really interesting events and things occurred on this day over the last 10 years, which I just find interesting. So let's start out here. First of all, we released, I believe, the second episode of Cryptid Bits with General Tidbits. If you've never checked out Cryptid Bits with General Tidbits, I'll put a link up there, a little tag over in the corner. What the hell they call those? Not a tag. Doesn't matter. Anywho, that is a channel where my good friend Jess and I, occasionally I pop on and co-host with her, and it's we talk about cryptids, and we have people who are interested in talking about cryptids come on the show. Anywho, this is episode 3 that came out a year ago today, and I can't believe that's over a year ago that we did that. It's mind-blowing to me how fast time grows. I read something the other day that I thought was really interesting. Had something to do with you don't realize how fast time flies until you see the things you create grow. And I was like, oh, that's true. Because I've always said it's easy to start comparing the years to your child's lives and ages and so on and so forth. I'm going to skip the political ones. I'm not really into talking about that on here. I don't remember where we were. Oh, I do remember where we were going. And this starts a really interesting story. I did an episode, actually, if you really want to go back. It's one of my most watched episodes of The Road to 40. It's, we were traveling here. We were in the car and Greyson's sticking his head out the window. Can you remember anything more beautiful when you're a kid than driving somewhere and just sticking your head out the window? I mean, things were crazier. You know, it's funny, like I remember riding in the back of trucks on the highway all the time. I remember sticking my head out the window or letting my uncle would drive as close to the side of the road as possible so I could grab like branches and leaves. Like I would never do that now. Kids should not do that ever. That's a public service announcement from the Vodkast. Don't stick your hand out the side of the window because you know, I could get it chopped right off. Anywho, so we're traveling. Beautiful day. This is also during a period when I was really getting into nerd crafting, and D&D was still something we did that wasn't virtual, but it was actual tabletop. Not that you can't do that now, but to be completely honest, I'd really prefer it this way. I miss sitting with my friends, but at the same time, handling dice and rules and miniatures, it's so much easier this way. This was a fun period. It took over my dining room, and it turned into a complete craft area. And it was fun. I enjoyed it, but then I ran out of room to put things. Oh, my God. I know these are going to be all over the place, but this did all happen on the same day. It appears that's 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I went to Walmart, and I love going to Walmart's clearance section. It's one of those just favorite things to do. When I go to Target, that's the areas that I hit is the clearance section and their toys, because I love toys. Oh, God, I love toys. I wish I didn't love toys as much as I did. Anywho, Walmart on this day decided they were going to clearance out these. You hook it up to the faucet, and it creates a bunch of water balloons, so you don't have to do them individually. And we ended up with, I think, 1,200 water balloons in the end, and each of them were priced at 18 cents. That's such a deal, and it made for such a memory, because I'll never forget. I mean, I'm sure there are still somewhere out there little pieces of balloon. That's the only problem I do have with water balloon fights, is it definitely hurts the environment. But I mean, if you live every moment of every day just concerned with the damage you're doing, you'll drive yourself absolutely crazy. So there are lines for everyone. Some people have to be vegan. Some people have to recycle. Some people have to, put the worm back in the dirt. You know, there's a lot of different people in the world. There's some people that just step on ants. I try to avoid them as best I can, but there's a lot of them. This was a good day, and I'll never forget this day. Every year over the last few years, it's been a great day today. So I can only imagine today is going to be a great day, too. Only problem is we were actually going to go hiking today on the railroad trail up near Crabtree Falls, but the last 2 days it has been rainy as hell. And I'm actually kind of happy it has been, because I decided to start running, and I didn't stretch the other day. I just wasn't thinking. The weather was just beautiful. I'd left a bunch of stuff at home. Usually I just wear cargo shorts and I go for a walk, and I end up drenched in sweat. But I decided the weather was so beautiful, I was inspired to run, and I ran, and then I'd stop when I got tired, and I'd run some more. And so I ran a little less than half of it, so less than a mile I ran and walked. Well, it's actually 2.6 miles, this thing. So I probably did close to a mile. I'm getting off the subject entirely. Oh yeah, we were talking about how today we were going to go hiking, but my legs hurt. My legs still hurt. Day 2, and they're even more sore. My outer thighs. Anywho, let's go back to 9 years ago. The amount of websites I visit on a daily basis has decreased greatly. I would say that's increased in the last 9 years. There was like, I don't know, 15 sites. I'd have to be like, okay, check the news here, video game scores over here. Since then, I basically check Facebook, Best Buy deal of the day, and my email. Those are the 3 things that I check. So I guess it's less, but I do visit more sites more frequently than I used to. Amazon, I'm constantly just checking my basket just to see if things are dropping in price. Sometimes you find a crazy deal, like somebody marks something lower than they intended low, not like I want to take advantage of people, but if the price in the cart is the price that I can get it at, then I'll go for it. And if they want to cancel that order, then that's cool on their part. But I know a lot of people will honor things like that. I've also noticed that companies lately are just handing stuff out. Like I ordered 2 kickstands for the boys' bikes, and they didn't fit. So I went to the store to return them, and they're like, no, just keep them. They're like, here's the return. They returned it. I was like, what? Then, I can't keep switching cameras because this one's the little baby camera, and then this is me. We ordered an air fryer a few years ago from Walmart. It never arrived, but it said it was delivered to this other address. So I contacted them. They sent another one out. In the meantime, that other one got delivered. So I contacted them again. What did they do? Keep it. Just keep it. I'm like, throw it. They're like, throw it away. Keep it. We don't care what you do with it. I was like, this is like normally a $60 thing. I think we paid like 30 or 40 for it. And I was like, okay. So we sent it to a friend. My friend Corey, as a matter of fact. I wonder if he ever uses it. All right, 9 years ago, I fucking love the arts. I still do love the arts, man. And here we are at the top of Flat Top. This was a good hike. It was me, my 2 boys, Carol, Kim, my sister-in-law, and Isaac and Michaela, I think. I think that was everybody that was there. And we decided we were going to just go for a ride on the Blue Ridge Parkway. What we didn't realize is that we were getting on a trailhead that was going to lead us to the top of Flat Top, and we just kept going and going because it was beautiful, and we were still expecting to see a beautiful sight, and it never came until we got to the end. Well, Griffin was still a little at this point, and Geycen was doing pretty good, and everybody else was doing okay, but Griffin was having a tough time, so Carol decided to turn around and go back with him after we got to the top, I believe, or right near the top. And so we sat there for a little while. Of course, I had to take some selfies. Did I mention I nearly had to fight a mammoth bear today? Yes, and that's wherein the story lies. We were coming back down, and Kim had ripped her toenail off, her pinky toenail off, because she had gone walking with us early in the day or the day before, and maybe I can't remember what nail it was. It doesn't matter what, but whatever it is, you're walking without a nail on a toe. It's sore. So we're coming back down, and Geycen and I are kind of up ahead, just kind of doing our thing, and then we'd go back, check on them, or they'd catch up to us. And I came around a turn, and about 30 feet from me stood a black bear just clawing on a tree. I'll never forget it. And it knew I was there the second I came around the corner, as much as I knew it was there. And I just stopped and I froze. And I'm like, all the training, everything I've always learned about black bears and what you're supposed to do and not do went out the window. And I started backing up because Geycen was still maybe 40, 50 feet behind me. I said, go back. And he's like, what is it? I'm like, there's a bear over there. And he's like, I want to see. And I'm like, no. And so I started sharpening the stick I had, knowing that I was going to have to fight this. This was my destiny. It was meant to happen, me versus black bear. But in all honesty, what you want to do if a black bear does charge you, it's usually a bluff charge. You want to make yourself big as possible and don't back down. I know that sounds like a lot, but that's what they tell you to do. Anywho, I got my stick sharp and came around, saw it one last time as it ran off into the woods, and that was the end of my epic battle with the giant black bear. It wasn't even that big. It was probably a 400-pound, which is a big bear, don't get me wrong. 400 pounds of bear versus me, though, doesn't stand a chance. here they are. We got back to the house safe and sound and uneaten by bears. And this is interesting because this is going to lead into a video. Actually, it comes out today, so you're not going to see this until after this video is already out. But I'll put a link to it right here. This is my second AI video that I'm doing. I want to show you guys what you can do with AI in your own art rather than just photos. Like, because it's great at photo manipulation and, generative filling in, gaps and what you want it to look like and adding things, anything you can imagine. But I wanted to see what it could do with art, and I was reasonably impressed with what it could do. So I'm going to scroll by this quickly because I don't want you to see what it does. Well, I guess it doesn't matter at this point. That's what it does. Yowza. Watch that video if you want to learn more about that. I'm not going to keep guys much longer, but oddly enough, I hasn't even talked to Hamlin recently. This was a funny conversation that I had. I hadn't been in touch with my friend Hamlin in a while, and I was a little nervous because, I know I think the last time I talked to him, he'd gotten sick or something like that. And every few years, like I'm doing right now, I'll comment on an old thing just to see if people react or don't notice. And my friend Paul noticed that I had posted something, I don't know, maybe it was 2 years ago. And he was like, yeah, I just talked to him last week or 2 weeks ago. I was like, Paul, this is for 10 years ago. And I just thought it was, the interaction was funny. So I love going back and checking out my memories and seeing if I can pull a funny reaction out of them. And sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. And that's the last memory for today. So that's about it. I think it's a fun idea, especially on days like this that are great days throughout history. I've gone to there's one day every year where I get sick. I don't know what it is, but I've noticed every year for the last 3 years I've gotten sick on that day. 4 years ago, no. 5 years ago, yes. So it's almost like an on again, off again, but mostly on again. It's weird, strange the way things go in cycle. Ka is a wheel. And if you guys are loving the content I'm creating as much as I love creating the content that you guys are watching, you should consider liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing, and hit the little bell icon because it'll let you know every time I put out a new video. Don't forget to make somebody smile today and make yourself a better person tomorrow than you were today. Tomorrow, let's make the world spin a little bit happier together. Let's sing and dance in the sun and the rain is one, my brothers and sisters. Live life to the fullest and love every moment of it because you just never know when that last moment's going to come for you. However, never live in fear of that moment. Always live in love and never let your inner child die. Take care of yourselves, take care of one another, and take care of those around you who cannot take care of themselves, for they are the ones that need it the most. And if no one has told you today that they love you, the Vodkast loves you very much, just the way you are. All right, guys, I'm Geycen Oliveira. This is the Vodkast, and I'll catch you guys a little bit further on down the road. Take care, everybody.